What's up, you guys? I'm Haley.
And I'm Andrea.
And this is Inhuman, a true crime podcast. Okay, so before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to say hello. I think we have some new listeners that have been checking out the podcast. And first of all, thank you so much to everybody who messages us on Instagram and is like, oh my gosh, I love your podcast, because that just means the world to us.
You guys are so cute and so sweet. I know. I love that.
Yeah, it really, it truly makes our day. We'll text each other if one of us sees it and send it immediately to the other one, and we'll be like, oh my god, look at this. And it really means so much. So we appreciate that, and we're glad you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just wanted to say that and say hello, and we appreciate all of you for listening and telling us that you're listening.
Yes, keep telling us. We love it. We really love what we do. And when we started it, we weren't like, oh my gosh, we want to get rich and famous and blow up. We do it because we love it, and hearing that you guys are receptive to that is really awesome.
Yeah, it really means the world. So
yeah,
thank you. And I just wanted to say that because I don't know.
Yes,
I've been in my feels.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to say, because Andrea won't say it, if you guys missed our last episode, you missed a very big announcement. But Miss Andrea is pregnant with twins, and
yay.
I am so excited for her. And I think I was more excited to announce it on the podcast than she was.
Yeah, probably.
But I just wanted to share that in case you missed it at the end of the last episode. So go congratulate Andrea on her Instagram, and you can see she says she's posting her gender reveal this week, so I'm holding her to it.
It's a weird space to cross over your personal life and your professional life,
right.
So I felt a little weird about it, but I got we got a lot of really nice comments and congratulatory comments and stuff, so that was really nice.
Yeah, we're very excited for her. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. But we this episode, I think it's going to be a little bit shorter, but I think it's really important to share this one. Today I'm going to be covering the disappearance of Chance Englebert. And this one, has stuck with me for a while, but lately a lot of people have been suggesting I look into it. And when I first heard his name, the last few weeks, I was like, I can't place that. But as soon as I looked him up and saw his picture, I was like, oh, yep, I remember that. And so he has a very distinct look, rancher.
He's a cowboy.
Yeah, cowboy. So yeah, as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, oh gosh, yes, I remember him. I remember his story. And it's pretty, I mean, it's not within the last year, but it is still really recent. And he literally disappeared into thin air. So
yeah.
Chance Englebert was born on December 3rd, 1993 in Burdock, South Dakota. He grew up with his two younger brothers, Miles and Clay, on his family's ranch in Burdock. He loved to ride horses and work on the ranch, and he was very, very good at bareback riding, and he actually ended up getting a college scholarship for bareback riding.
Wow.
So he went to, I don't know if I'm going to say this correct, but it's Laramie? I don't know. It's a college. So he went to this Laramie County College, and this was in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So not far from where he grew up in South Dakota, but definitely not right in the same town.
So my case this week is in Wyoming too. That's kind of weird.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's so weird. If you couldn't tell, we don't always tell each other what cases we're covering.
Yeah.
So that's kind of creepy.
We want each other to be surprised, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he went to college and was on a bareback riding scholarship, and he got a degree in diesel mechanics and welding. Chance's mom, Dawn, describes him as hardworking but shy and said that he's just an all-around good kid. Chance met a woman named Bailey through mutual friends who did rodeos together. I actually heard in one place that Bailey's ex-boyfriend did rodeos with Chance, and then they ended up meeting and started talking. So they really started kind of becoming closer and started a relationship in October of 2017. And then 1 year later, at 25 years old, Chance and Bailey got married. So Chance was working at a mine at the time, and shortly after they got married, they moved to Moorcroft, Wyoming. I've seen in some places say that Chance eventually wanted to move back to be really close to his family's ranch, but it just wasn't possible at the time with work, so they moved to Moorcroft, and again, that wasn't very far from where his parents lived. Bailey describes Chance as her best friend, saying that their marriage was great from the start. She said that they rarely argued, and if they did, it was resolved quickly. In May 2019, Bailey and Chance welcomed their son, Banks, to the world.
Aww.
So Chance's adult life was all coming together. He had actually just lost his job at the mine because of mass layoffs, but he got a new job that he was going to be starting the Monday after the 4th of July weekend in 2019. So before Chance started this new job, the family decided to take a trip over the 4th of July weekend, and they were going to visit Bailey's grandparents in Gering, Nebraska. So on July 6, 2019, the family headed to Gering, which was about 4 hours away from their home in Moorcroft, and they spent the day there with Bailey's grandparents, and Chance actually spent the day golfing with some of Bailey's family members. And I believe it was Bailey's brother-in-law and dad and maybe a couple other people. Toward the end of the day, Bailey had gone to meet Chance after he had been golfing all day, and she recalls that when she spoke to him on the phone, he was in a good mood, and she was going to get him, and then they were going to go meet some of her friends for dinner before heading back to Moorcroft that night. When she got to where Chance was and took Banks out of the car, Chance came up and said, "Get the fuck back in the car, we're leaving."
Uh-oh.
And was all of a sudden angry. And Bailey remembers everyone that was there seeming very confused, but she just got in the car and she started driving away, and they canceled their dinner plans. And it turns out that Chance had basically misunderstood something that someone had said. Somebody had talked about his mine shutting down, and basically something like Chance still making more in Wyoming than he would in Nebraska. Okay, you lost your job, but you're still making more money or something like that. It's not super clear, but basically Bailey thinks that Chance just took it the wrong way and got upset about it, and he would get upset like this, and she said that he also had just enough to drink that she couldn't really talk any sense into him, which I understand that, we all get like that, men get like that, where you just can't talk any sense into them.
No, they're not even listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so she just kind of went along with it, and she was like, okay, we'll go home. So Bailey drove back to her grandparents' house to pick up their things, but when they got there, Chance was upset, saying, I want to go home. And Bailey was like, well, we have to grab our bags so we can go home. But Chance was so upset, and he just got out of the car and took off on foot. So that was around 7:30 p.m., and Bailey immediately went off looking for him. She had to bring the baby inside and give Banks to her grandma to watch, but right after that, she took off driving around, and she couldn't find him. She eventually spoke to Chance on the phone at 7:46 p.m., and he told her that he was walking south. But during this time, Chance also spoke to some friends on the phone, telling them that he was heading north back towards Wyoming. So Chance was seen on surveillance footage at 7:51 p.m. in the area of Martha Road and 10th Street walking north. And then a witness said that they saw him a few minutes later near the area of Terry's Lake, which was just a few minutes walk from where he was seen on footage. So it does seem like he was heading north. Maybe he just said the wrong thing to Bailey. I don't think that there's really anything to that.
Okay.
It seemed to Chance's family as if he was trying to find a ride back to Wyoming that night. He just wanted to go home. He had called some friends, but none of them were close enough or sober enough to go pick him up. One of his friends, Mike, called Chance's parents that night, basically saying, Chance called me, but we've all been drinking all day, so we can't go get him. Can any of your guys' family go pick him up? And a bunch of family members called Chance, but none of them were able to actually speak with him. And then the last time that anyone verbally heard from Chance was at 8:46 p.m. At around 9 p.m. that night, a bad thunderstorm started rolling through the area. Bailey and her grandfather were out searching for Chance, hoping that he had taken shelter in a bar or a building, but they never saw any sign of him. Around 11 p.m., Bailey had called Chance's parents. They had chosen to stay in because of the storm and because it was dark, and they basically all just figured he had gone to a bar or something to cool off and would come home. Bailey told them around 11 that the storm had gotten too bad, and so they had to stop looking for the night.
Ugh, that's sad.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little bit weird. At 9:08 p.m., a text message was sent from Chance's phone. I don't know. I think it was to his mom, but I'm not 100% sure. But his family's not 100% sure that he sent it. The text was basically a series of random numbers and emojis, and that was just not like Chance. He never used emojis. But I couldn't really find any more information on this of, if they looked into it or what. I mean, I don't know, without his phone or any evidence, I don't know if they could look into it anymore, but it's just kind of something to note that it was very weird.
It sounds too if you have your phone in your purse or your pocket or something, it'll just write out all this random stuff.
Right.
So
it definitely could have been something like that. Yeah. The last ping from Chance's phone was in a town that was about 3 miles away from the town where Bailey's grandparents' house was in Gering. So it pinged a tower on County Road 19 near the Riverview Golf Course, which was just west of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. But shortly after that ping, Chance's phone was turned off, and officials mentioned through the investigation that basically, as we've heard before, cell phone pings aren't necessarily exact. They kind of triangulate. Yeah. So just because it was right there doesn't mean he was right there. It just means he was in the area.
Right.
So about an hour after this last text was sent, around 10 p.m., Chance was spotted on surveillance footage walking through an intersection in a suburb called Terrytown, and that was the last time he was ever seen. The next morning, Bailey had hoped that Chance would have come back home in the middle of the night after, cooling off, but he wasn't home. She said that, at times he would get angry, go work on something, or go have a beer to calm down, but then he would come back. So she was hoping that he would have come back in the middle of the night, but he wasn't there, and no one had heard from him. Chance's Aunt Katie, who he loved dearly and he would never turn down her calls, could not reach him. So that's when the family really started thinking something was up. Bailey filed a missing persons report around 11 a.m. the next day, and she recalls that the police did not take it seriously at first, saying he probably just needed to cool off and he would be back, which we've heard so many times.
Right.
Even if you thought he needed to cool off, there was a bad thunderstorm. What if something happened? What if he got hurt?
And how long do you need to cool off? I mean, it had been 24 hours almost at this point?
Yeah, almost.
So,
yeah,
I would think at least look into it. At least have somebody search the area.
Right. But no, they didn't take it seriously right away. But finally, after a few days, they did start to take it seriously and searches began. So there were a lot of searches within the community. There were 18 different agencies and hundreds of volunteers that were searching on foot for Chance, and it's been reported that they covered 2,400 acres searching.
Wow.
Search and cadaver dogs were brought in, and divers also searched the North Platte River, I think it is, that was in the area. And then they also had drones and aerial searches, but literally no sign of Chance was ever found.
That's so weird.
Even the dogs, and apparently when it rains, dogs sense, they're able to actually track sense more. Yeah, which I didn't realize.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, so you'd think that that it would help, they would track some sort of scent of his, but nope, they never found anything.
That's so weird.
Chance's family says that it is very uncharacteristic of him to just up and leave, and Bailey does not believe he would just leave his 2-month-old son. She said that he loved being a dad, and he would have never purposefully just left him. Dawn, Chance's mom, believes that Chance was heading towards a town called Torrington where he could have someone pick him up, and that he met with foul play.
That's what I was wondering, too, if he, tried to hitchhike and...
Right.
Met some psycho crazy person on the road. I don't know.
Yeah. One theory really early on was that Bailey's family may have been involved, and this pretty much came about because the family was reported to be pouring fresh concrete in their yard not long after Chance disappeared, but the Gering police basically said that this theory was, like, not true, and it was very quickly debunked, so.
That's poor timing, though. Poor timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'd be like, that's suspicious, too.
Right. But no, they debunked that. And then Bailey also claims that her and Chance did not get into an argument that night. That's what a lot of people think, that maybe she didn't tell the whole story and the two of them got into an argument. That's why he took off. But she claims that that's not true, and honestly, I kind of believe it. Like, I could see a guy losing his temper over something and then just wanting to get home, and he, like, decided to walk home and something happened.
Yeah.
So another theory that a lot of people believe is that Chance fell into the river during the storm and was unable to get out. As I mentioned, divers searched in the river for Chance, and I'm not sure exactly how big this river is, but they never found anything. And of course, that doesn't mean that he wasn't there, especially because of the storm. But Dawn believes there is no way he would have fallen into the river. He was a swimmer, he was athletic, and very smart. He wouldn't have just walked in. And she actually said, quote, "He was a smart kid and he wouldn't have been by the river, wouldn't have gotten near the river. He grew up near the Cheyenne River. He would have known to respect it." So she basically is saying there's no way that he would have been close enough to the river for something to happen, and if he had fallen in, he would have been able to get out.
Yeah.
Chance's family believes that he met with foul play that night. Chance's grandmother has pleaded for anyone who may be involved or may know something to come forward. The family believes he possibly got into a vehicle with the wrong person, as you said, and that something went wrong. Bailey's family also continues to search for Chance, and although there is a little bit of uncertainty in Dawn's mind about if something else between Chance and Bailey happened that night, she is hopeful that that's not the truth, and she seems to believe it's more something related to some other foul play.
Yeah, because it seems like the family would be somewhat aware if they were having problems. It wouldn't just be like a one fight, one off type thing, you know?
And it doesn't seem like anybody believes like Bailey or her family did something to Chance, so what does it matter why he left and walked away? Like, either way, he got out of the car and walked away. So whether it was because of a comment somebody else made or because of something that happened between him and Bailey, it doesn't really matter in my eyes. Like, if you're saying like he met with foul play outside, you know, that's just my opinion though.
And I've definitely done that. I've like got out of cars and walked to like cool off, you know, even if it wasn't, you know, directed at the driver or the person who's driving the car, like just to have a moment to myself, you know, which is dangerous. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Especially if you're drinking.
But yeah, if you've been drinking and you have a temper, you might just need to walk off and then something might have happened. So the police do continue to follow up on all tips and leads, but they basically have never been able to find any trace of Chance, and it seems as if he disappeared into thin air. Dawn continues to push for more investigation than what is currently happening with the police. She has said that the Nebraska State Police basically never got called back in after the initial searches, and she's been frustrated with the lack of thorough investigation into what happened that night, basically saying, like, you guys haven't really investigated. Like, they've classified it as an investigation now, but they don't seem to be
aren't doing anything.
I mean, they follow up on any leads, but, you know, they're not, like, actively investigating what actually happened. Chance has now been missing for over 2 years with no trace. He was 25 years old when he went missing. He has light brown hair and hazel eyes and is 5'9" or 5'10" with a medium build. He was last seen wearing a short-sleeve button-down Wrangler shirt, blue Wrangler jeans, and a belt with an NRCA buckle, along with roper boots, I think is how you say it, but boots and a black and white trucker cap. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Chance Englebert, you can contact an anonymous police tip line at 724-466-4637 or you can contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-422-1494. And again, that can be anonymous. There's also a Facebook page run by Chance's family and friends. His mom regularly posts in there updates with if there is any new information, and also just shares more photos of him and is really just trying to keep his name out there and keep his story alive so that they can help find him. So that is called Help Find Chance Englebert, and I will link that in the show notes for you guys. So, as I said, Chance's mother is a huge advocate for her son and honestly for so many missing people out there. She really just wants her son to not be forgotten, and she wants the family to be able to find him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you have any information, please call those numbers, and I will have them written in the show notes as well. And yeah, that is the super mysterious disappearance of Chance Englebert. It's like heartbreaking that they haven't been able to like find any leads at all, but you know, I am hopeful that if we continue to spread information about this and honestly just push the police to actually look, hopefully they'll find him. You know, some of Chance's family do believe that he is no longer with us, but that doesn't mean they don't want to find him.
Yeah, so they need closure. I mean, even, you know, if he is, God forbid, no longer with us, they need that closure regardless.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the story of Chance. I will post photos on our Instagram, so be sure to go on there and share the photos. You know, the more information and sharing we can get out there, the more likely police will start looking into this again. So yeah, that will be on our Instagram, which is at Inhuman_podcast. And that's all I have for you guys today. So we will see you on Thursday with a brand new episode. And until then, keep it human. Bye.
Bye.